Hi, I'm Brian, and I'm here at the Benjamin N. Cardozo School of Law, where the ITAP program just started yesterday. The Intensive Trial Advocacy Program is where students learn practical courtroom skills from leading judges and lawyers. Today, I'll be speaking with Judge Marcia Cooke.
Good afternoon.
So, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing here at ITAP.
Well, this is probably, it has to be my 15th or 16th year teaching at ITAP. I first started back in the late 80s, teaching with Professor Scheck and then Professor Vogelman. So this week we've been doing our first week of ITAP, which concentrates on the skills involved in direct cross-examination and the introduction of exhibits, and a little bit on opening statement.
Do you have a favorite?
Well, I think direct examination is very important. Most lawyers underestimate the power of direct examination because it's not quite as sexy as cross-examination. No one ever says, I did a killer direct. But it's really the basis and the foundation of doing and putting in your case.
Well, you said it's been 20th year?
Probably close. I mean, it's probably maybe, if it's not 20, it's not that far behind. I want to say I did my first ITAP in maybe 1987 or 1988.
So what brings you back year after year?
Well, first of all, I have learned, when I was a trial lawyer myself, teaching ITAP and any kind of trial skills course gave me an opportunity to get up on my skills, the kind of things I wanted to learn how to do and do better. The second thing is I also get a chance to interact with students. I mean, people who are really new at this, and I know it sounds kind of corny, but young minds that are really want to get involved and be trial lawyers, and that's fun. And the other thing is, I don't know if you had an opportunity to hear Professor Scheck's introduction yesterday of the faculty. This is a pretty rock star trial litigation faculty, so I get to teach with some of the best trial lawyers, trial practitioners, and teachers of trial advocacy in the country.
So what is the most enjoyable part for you?
Oh, obviously the students. I mean, working with the students, as much fun and frustrating that it can be on one day. When you've been here, like usually I come on a Monday and I stay through till Thursday or Friday to see where students are Monday morning at 9 o'clock and to see where they are on Friday at 1:30, and you go, wow, you've helped somebody become better, do better, be better. It's awesome.
Now, I know you taught or directed a program at the U.S. Attorney's Office for
Yes.
their training. How does that compare to?
Well, it's a little different because you're dealing with people who are already lawyers and are at least getting to use their skills on a daily basis. So when you do a direct examination workshop, usually within a few days, people are going to get to use their direct examination skills again pretty soon. But it's very similar. Probably the biggest thing is sometimes lawyers are not as, how should I put this delicately, capable of being influenced as well as the students. Students tend to listen a little bit better, but when you're dealing with trial lawyers' egos, you got to tread on delicate ground.
So, if it's a little bit different than that, how does the ITAP program compare with just general courtroom experience outside of a school environment?
Well, I think the best thing it does is it gives you a basis. It gives you a foundation. You've at least tried it before you come into court. You know, when you come into court, you don't have someone telling you, today we will be doing a direct examination. Today we'll be doing an exhibit. You come into trial, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday rolled into one, because you will be giving an opening statement, doing a direct exam, doing a cross, and admitting exhibits. So it really is advanced trial skills like 501. You've passed 101 a long time ago.
But in terms of how these skills directly relate, is it pretty accurate to what judges and litigators strive for outside?
Oh, definitely. Because you're trying to learn how to, for example, as a plaintiff, how to take your case, prove it to a jury or a judge if you're doing a bench trial, issues that may arise, whether they're evidentiary, problem areas with witnesses. Those are all things that we see every day in the real world.
Do you also see the converse?
Like
people who have clearly not taken a part?
Oh, I don't want to say that. But yes, and for anyone who listens and they're thinking about wanting to be a trial lawyer, take ITAP. Even though, particularly now, when I was coming out of law school, there were more ways to get trial practice. There were more legal aid programs. It was before the advent of no-fault insurance, so you could try, if you went to a civil firm, a small case that maybe only had $2,000 or $3,000 worth of damages. It was just easier to get that kind of work. Now it's a lot harder. I mean, one of the reasons is in the civil practice, people so rarely try cases. So unless you're becoming a public defender or prosecutor, you're just not going to have that type of volume that's going to enable you to get the experience that you get in ITAP.
So even if people aren't planning on being, say, a prosecutor or legal aid practice, it's still a very valuable skill set to obtain as a civil litigator?
Definitely. I mean, even if you're not going to be a litigator, especially if you're going to be a litigator, you need ITAP because you've been exposed to the concepts. I mean, you understand when someone says proof of beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand preponderance of numbers, preponderance of evidence, burden of proof. Those won't be new terms when people throw them at you. But even if you find yourself not being a litigator or trial lawyer, what lawyers do is persuade. Lawyers advocate. So whether you're advocating in a courtroom or you're advocating in terms of contract negotiations or your real estate deal, the art of persuasion and the art of advocacy is always involved.